Hello and welcome back again to another new video. So this video is for advanced level programmers. I believe that you already know UiPath and you are a beginner in RE framework. I believe that you know the UiPath part and you also know the orchestrator path part. So what we'll do here is instead of going with the robotic enterprise framework given here, instead of using this as a template, what we will do is we will create our own template. First, we'll start with the process. We'll create a blank process. We'll give the name as framework. This will be a sequel of videos in the sense we'll not be covering entire RE framework in this. So we'll do according to the levels. This will be the level 1 part in which only the basic part of the RE framework is covered. In the sense, we'll cover all the 4 state in the RE framework, which includes init state, get transaction state, process transaction state, and the end state. RE framework is basically a state machine. Let's drag and drop. The sequence doesn't matter. Let it be like that. Now what we have is we have 3 states and one final state. First state is our init state. First state is init state. Once init state is done, we have got get transaction state. Once that is done, what we have is process transaction state. We have got process transaction state. Once that is done, we have got our end state, that is final state. We have got connection from here and we have got connection from here and there and there. Sorry, we don't have this connection. And we have like this. There is another one which we will not consider as of now, that is business rule exception. So this is our state machine in brief overview. Without anything inside, it is a blank empty shell. This is a skeleton of your RE framework. So what we have now is init get transaction process transaction and your end process. We are done with the fancy names. Now we'll analyze what actually happens in the RE framework. As I told you, this is a level 1 part. We'll not complicate it. We'll keep it to the point. We'll keep it very simple at this level. In the initialized state, this is init state. I mean to say it is an initialized state. What we'll keep in this is open browser. Once open browser is done, we will go with the rpachalice.com. This will be the site which we will be automating. So I already have the code of this. So if you want the code of this, I'll again post the link in the description. You can download the code from my Git repository. You can use it later on. If you have it, if you know how to do this is well and good. So in case if you don't have it, so you can download it from the GitHub repository. In its state, all we do is we open the browser, we will download the Excel and we'll click on start. That is our main goal as of now. So one open browser and 2 click activities is all that will fit in it. What do we generally do here? We have got a standard practice of putting everything inside a try catch block. Okay, so we'll create a new sequence saying that initialize all applications. we created one sequence called as initialize all applications, wherein we initialize all applications. When I say we initialize all applications, that means we open the all applications that are done only once. In the sense, opening the browser is done only once, and loading the Excel is done only once. Clicking on that download file and start the process is done only once. So all the process that are done once, we are doing it inside the init all applications. First thing is open browser. After that, we have got two clicks. One click here, another click goes there. I'll just copy the link. Yeah, there I go. And we'll choose the browser type as Chrome. And we are done here. One click on the download Excel part. It is always a good practice to rename your activities. Second click on the start button. So we'll see the selector. Yeah, it's proper. Yeah, it's proper. We don't have any CSS selector. If there was a CSS selector, you need to turn it off, which is unnecessary. So far so good. Okay. So now we have init all applications. So what we'll do is init all applications and drop it. We'll add a new catch saying that let's handle system exception. In this exception, what we'll do, we'll raise a flag. Why flag? If you know here, all these are the trigger points. So there are two inputs and two outputs. So when to go with this flow and when to go with this flow. This happens with respect to the condition. We have to put the condition here. If this condition satisfies, it will go to the T3 part. If the condition what you write here, it satisfies, then T1, the init will proceed with the T1 part. So end process, when to end the process, when we got the error in initialize sequence. Okay, what we'll do, we will declare a variable. Okay, we'll declare a variable. Let's say the variable is type of type, you can choose boolean flag. Okay, let's choose boolean flag. In this case, let's choose boolean flag. The flag will be flag. This will be boolean, and scope I'll keep in the state machine. Flag equal to true. That means while initializing the sequence, I got an error. When I got an error, what I did, I just marked that flag as true. So now you know when to go with the third flow, T3 flow, and when to go with the T1 flow. When everything is success, that means when my flag is false, then I should go with the T1 workflow. When my flag is true, that means I've got one error. So better not to go with the process. Let me just end the process here itself. So when to go with the T1 workflow? When I don't have any error. That means flag is equal to false. Simple as that. Done. Now when to go with the third workflow, I mean to say T3 workflow, when the flag is set to true. That means I have got one error. Let me not just continue with the workflow. Let me just stop it there. T3, T1, I don't think this is easily understandable. So what we will do, we'll rename this T3 as error. Okay. You can understand in the look, in the one look itself, you can understand that, yeah, this is error workflow, and that goes to the end of the process. This workflow. So what we'll mark it as success. Okay. We had one error which is gone. Now we have to resolve for these two activities. In get transaction state, what we do, we get something from the orchestrator. We have not configured our orchestrator here. That's fine. We will do it. In process transaction state, we will do our logic part. I mean to say, we will fill these fields and click on submit, so that we'll get the next sheet. Once all the transaction item in the queue are used up, that means you don't have any more transaction item in your queue. So then we will go to the end process state. Until then, what do? We get the transaction item from the orchestrator, we fetch it, we operate on this in the sense we fill the details, we click on submit. Upon success, we go to the get transaction state. Upon failure, we go to the init state. Now let me get back to that workflow. This is my workflow wherein I have dispatcher part, I've got performer part. I'll show you what is inside in this. I'll open the main workflow here. We have got the dispatcher part here. I'll open it for you. We have got the performer part here. Okay. In dispatcher, we are reading the item, we are reading the Excel, and we are adding it to the queue. In the second part, performer part, this we are transferring it to the framework now, so we don't need most of the part here. Okay. In performer, what we basically do, we get the transaction item, we'll check if the item is null or not. We got the null value. What does null value mean? The null value means that there are no more queue items, or transaction items that are present in the queue. So all your transaction items got used up, so it returns null value. When it returns null value, I've just given a message box saying that end of the flow. If we did not get the null value, that means we should continue with the workflow. In the sense, type the first name, second name, role in the company, address, email, all these workflow fields as you can see here. Okay. And in the end, we are clicking on the submit button. If you people want me to make a video on this, on RPA challenge, I can make a video. Please mention in the comment box so that making of it is a worth. Upon entering all values and hitting submit button, we are setting the transaction status as true, and we are getting the next item, and this goes on and on. We want to transfer everything into the framework part. So what we'll do, first we'll concentrate on the dispatcher part. This dispatcher will come inside our init all applications. Okay, you can drag it outside the init all applications also, it is up to you where you keep it. So what I'll do is, anyhow I've got one sequence that is created for dispatcher solely. So what I'll do, I'll just copy the dispatcher from here, copy the dispatcher and the performer I'll copy this. I'll take it to my workflow. I'll paste it here. So now I have performer and dispatcher. So now I'll go to my original workflow. Now I can't see them. Upon hitting refresh, I do can see them. So what I'll do, in the init state, in the try block, once we concentrated on the applications, we will do the dispatcher part right below the init all applications workflow. That is understood. Once that is done, we'll come back. Now the init state is completed. So now all we have is get transaction state and process state. Get transaction state, we will concentrate on performer. Get transaction item. Copy this. Go to init all application. Go to main. Drag a try catch block. Paste it. Okay. Control K. Transaction item. We have transaction item here. In the catch, again input output exception. You remember we had created a flag saying that setting it to the boolean field true, which states that we got an error while we try to get the get transaction item. In the sense, while we were trying to get the transaction item from the queue, due to this the slow internet speed or any other problem, due to if the internet speed is too low or your internet connection is off, this timeout it waits for the 30 seconds. It can't communicate with your orchestrator, so that it will return an error. So it will go to exception block. What happens here is you are setting the flag to true. So the get transaction workflow is done. You need to handle T2 and T4. When to go with the T2 part, when to go with the T4 part. When to go with the T4 part, when the flag is equal to true. When flag is equal to false. Means this is success and this is failure or error. Let this be error as of now and let this be one condition as of now. Okay, now when to loop back, this is a loop back sequence. When to loop back when everything is success. That means flag equal to false. Okay. Process transaction state. In the process transaction state, again we put try and catch block. The performer, this is a part of the performer. Yeah, we did not check the null part. Body, what we'll do, we'll copy this out straight away and we'll create a new sequence. Process. We'll paste our sequence here. We got everything. This var1, we got it from here, the output of the get transaction item. Let's not worry, as we don't have any get transaction item in the process here. What we'll do, we'll create an argument saying that var1 direction is n. Okay, in direction, but still var1 is not of type string, it is of type q item. Okay, it is of item type q item. So what we'll do, if you want me to look into it, it is a type of q item. It's a q item. So what we'll do, we'll go to process, the argument is of type q item. If you don't find it here, what you can do is you can type here, go for browse all types, QUE. It is this UiPath.core Q item. Hope this is understood. Once that is done, we don't need this performer. We are almost done here. Init all applications, we can close this up. We don't need this anymore. Process, we are done. We just enter the details here. What we'll do, we created a process which takes in argument for transaction item, but transaction item we are doing it here, get transaction item. Okay, this get transaction item is stored in transaction item. Now I'll import the arguments and I'll type. Okay, we need to change the scope of the transaction item there. Variables, the scope will set to state machines. Go to main, again scroll down, process transaction, import arguments, and here we will have transaction item. Done. Again new catch, assign. If we get any error like selector not found, any error like that, so what we'll do, we'll raise a flag. Flag is equal to so when it is success, flag is false and it goes back, else T6. Done. In the end process, we close all applications. We close the applications. Okay. So we'll create a sequence to kill or it is better to go with the close application workflow rather than choosing the kill application. I personally like close application more than kill application. So what you can do is set continue on error to true, so that if you get any error here, it will move on, or else you can turn it off. It's up to you, but I'll turn it off because if I get any error here, I'll handle it in the catch block, marking it as kill all applications. Input for this is to indicate it on the screen. I'll indicate Google Chrome. Chrome, and let me just tweak the selector part in this. Yeah, I'll just remove this part off. Validate. It does the job. Let's do with other tabs also. Let's see if this works with this. Run file. Yeah, it does the job. So we are almost confirmed that this close application will work with any given tab opened in the Chrome. So what we can do in the main, in the end, what we can do, we can kill or close all applications. In the init all, what we can do, kill or close all applications. And if you remember, we had constantly setting a flag to true, false, true, false, true, false. What we'll do in the initial state, while it is initially declared, while the flag is initially declared, we will set the flag to false. We forgot to add one condition in the process. If all the transaction items are used, then while fetching the transaction item, we'll get the null value. So if we get the null value, we don't need to continue with the success flow. We need to end the process. So along with this, or if the transaction item is nothing, either we get the error or the transaction item is nothing, go to end process. Click. Okay. This is all your first level of framework looks like. So this is not a rocket science. This is not rocket science. All you had dragged was 4 states, and you created some 3 4 functions or 3 4 sequences, and you just invoked them. Nothing you did, nothing more, nothing less. This is level 1. There are many more levels. Like we never included dictionary in this. We'll gradually include the dictionary in this. So if you want, I can put this workflow in the GitHub repository so that you can download this workflow. So what I'll do, I'll just run for my confirmation. Okay, you got an error which was not handled. Kill or close all applications. We just dragged and kept it there. Just set it to true and set the timer very low. Default timer, let it be 3 seconds, not more than that. Close the kill applications. We'll run the workflow. It does even faster than this. So this is the basic workflow what I have. So if you want the advanced workflow for the RPA challenge, I can post it that too. This is your basic framework. If you close this up, then that is your error. So what it does, it reopens everything. So I have closed everything now. So as per our program, it should reopen everything and it should proceed ahead. As you can see, it got an error. So now let's see what happens. Again it opened, it caught the exception and it went on. This shouldn't have been done, but this is level 1. As I told, this is level 1. There are more things to be handled. So this video will be bit long if I drag that part too inside this. So what we'll do, we'll wind this up here. So I'll create separate videos for level 2 or level 3 or more levels to come. Generally it is level 2 or level 3. Till then we are done. So thank you for watching. Have a great day.